It will start in another 1 minute. In the meantime, Chris, would you like to just confirm that your audio is working too?
For sure. Hello, everybody.
That's great. I can hear you loud and clear. All right, everybody, let's get this party started. So Chris from the University of Alberta and I are delighted to present to you options to study at the Alberta School of Business in Canada. Let me briefly introduce myself, and then my name is Sasha Ramani. I'm the head of Canada for MPOWER Financing, but you're probably not here to hear from me, so I will let Chris introduce himself.
Yeah, well, hello again, everybody. And my name is Chris Lynch, and I'm a senior director with the Alberta School of Business, sort of overseeing all of our different master's programs, including our MBA program.
That's great. Thank you so much, Chris. So just to quickly walk you through what we'll be talking about today, I'm going to give a quick overview on studying in Canada in general. Chris will talk about the Alberta School of Business. I will then talk about MPOWER Financing and our Path to Success and Scholarship programs, and we'll have plenty of time at the end for questions as well. Just a reminder, if you have any questions, you can write them at any time using the chat feature, and we'll try to address as many questions as we can after the presentation. And we expect to spend about an hour here together today. So just very briefly, Canada today hosts over 500,000 international students. And you can see that this number is growing very quickly. Students come from nearly every country in the world, and there's an increasing realization in Canada that Canadian schools want international students. They contribute greatly to the educational environment and to diversity on campus. So students from all over the world have been able to make a home for themselves in Canada. But why is a Canadian education so attractive? Couple reasons. Number one, Canada boasts a lot of really high quality schools like the University of Alberta, which Chris will tell you all about shortly. There's also a very friendly visa and study permit process, especially compared to several other countries. For example, there's no need to interview at an embassy usually. And for students after they graduate from a Canadian school, they're generally able to pretty easily get a 3-year postgraduate work permit. And then if they want to afterwards, to be on the path of permanent residency and citizenship. And finally, we Canadians generally have a reputation around the world for compassion and tolerance, which really means that students, no matter where they come from, are generally able to feel comfortable and to find a home for themselves wherever they end up settling within Canada. And of course, we can talk more about that ad nauseum. Both Chris and I are Canadians ourselves. But without further ado, let's have Chris tell you a little bit about the Alberta School of Business.
Oh, you're selling me a little too hard, Sasha. I don't know if it's going to be that exciting, but yeah. So I realize maybe not everybody is super familiar with the University of Alberta, but we are. So we're a globally recognized school. So we're based in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So we're on the kind of western side of Canada, next to BC and Vancouver. This one you may know better. Globally, the university itself is recognized as a top 100 university. We are, as a school of business, ranked as one of the top 3 schools of business in Canada for Maclean's, which is a Canadian ranking and magazine institution as well. The U of A itself is home to roughly 400 or 40,000 students, kind of across any discipline you could think of, about 7,000 international students. We have about 8,000 or 9,000 graduate students and about 31,000 undergraduate students. And as a university, we were founded in 1908, so we have been around for 12 years this year, and have about 290,000 living alumni that span the globe. I was trying to find countries where we didn't have any alum, and I was really struggling. So I know at the university level, I think pretty much every country in the world, we have an alum that is from there or currently based there. Yeah, and so then maybe a little bit just about the kind of School of Business itself. So while the university was founded in 1916, the School of Business was founded sort of 8 years after that in 1916. We actually started as a school of accountancy. And within the school, we have about 4,000 students split between our kind of bachelor's programs, our master's programs, and our doctoral or PhD programs. At the bachelor's or undergraduate level, we have our Bachelor of Commerce degree. So if anybody's interested in that, I put the kind of short link to find that program. At the master's level, our biggest or best known program is definitely our MBA. We do also offer a few other degrees that are a bit more specialized and have a very targeted audience. For instance, we have a Master's of Financial Management program that we offer with a few different partners in China, and so kind of have a bit of global reach through that as well. And a quick link to our MBA program and other master's programs is up there as well. And then we also have a PhD program. They don't have a quick link, but if you go to either of the other quick links, it's pretty easy to find the way to information on our PhD program as well. And so the main thing I will talk about is a bit about the kind of MBA itself. I think no matter where you're looking to go, whatever kind of school you're looking at, I think within the MBA, I think key expectations any student should have are one, that you will get kind of a solid grounding in kind of just business fundamentals, basic business strategy, kind of have a solid understanding of sort of what businesses look to do, how they do it, how they determine if they're functioning well, if they're following the right kind of plan or strategy, if they're ultimately going to be a successful business, or maybe why a business itself is successful. I think an MBA will also provide students with strong critical thinking skills, better analytical skills, and build upon their sort of own leadership abilities and leadership and management skills. And I think probably the driving motivation for a lot of people just around looking at the MBA is obviously a desire to kind of advance in their career, or maybe even make a pretty dramatic change in terms of their career. And I think, again, anyone looking at an MBA, those are probably the key factors that you should be looking for and expecting to get out of the degree. Now, how can we look to do that, and how that kind of ties into the MBA program that we have? So our program, it's 20 months in length, so essentially what we would consider to be a 2-year program. As a 2-year program, once you've graduated and kind of finished the degree requirements, you would be eligible for a 3-year postgraduate work permit in Canada. So that's something to keep in mind, in that with the postgrad work permits for a program that's 2 years or longer, you'd be eligible for a 3-year postgraduate work permit. For programs less than 2 years, you'd be eligible for a work permit equal to the length of your studies. So if you do a 1-year program, you'd be eligible for a kind of a 1-year postgrad work permit. It's once you reach 2 years or longer that you'd get a 3-year postgrad work permit. With our program, the MBA, it's built around kind of a combination of both kind of case study and lecture format. So kind of designed to add a bit of, or kind of take maybe what works best through both styles and kind of combine it together into the program. So for some topics and subject areas, definitely in sort of strategy and marketing for sure, going to be a heavy emphasis on cases and case study. Whereas maybe some of the more technical subjects, definitely with an initial focus on more of the lecture style and format, to make sure students have a solid grasp of the kind of fundamentals or basics before then maybe branching into more case applications. So it'd be more of our accounting and finance type courses. Within the program, our faculty is made up of academics, so professors here within the School of Business that all have PhDs from kind of globally recognized universities as well, and are strong publishers and researchers in their fields. But we also kind of have a sprinkling of individuals that teach in our program that are there more as industry experts. So someone that's coming in with, 15, 20, 30 years of solid experience in sort of the industry and the topics that they're going to be teaching in. So designed to give, again, kind of a blend of both that thorough theory and academic background, as well as sort of the practical and industry application side of things. And then I guess the other thing I'll just mention as sort of the program broadly, all students coming in will end up being assigned a dedicated career coach who's there to work with them throughout the entire program. So from the beginning of orientation through to kind of after graduation as well. And, along with kind of career coaching time, we have dedicated kind of programming put on through our careers office. They do a large portion of our orientation and have a few courses that actually continue throughout the degree. So, all told, not only will you get 40 plus hours of dedicated kind of career programming, but also have a career coach that's there to kind of work individually with you throughout the entire MBA to really sort of gear you up for kind of the most amount of postgraduate success, and also sort of success with kind of that internship that happens in the middle of the program that I'll talk a little bit on the next slide. Yeah, and so 20 months, so 2-year program, how it's kind of geared up or aligned is sort of the first year is very kind of common or broad to all students coming in. It's designed to give everybody sort of a solid grounding or understanding of kind of business fundamentals. So that's where we'll cover off, financial accounting, managerial accounting, finance, marketing, leadership, economic strategy, essentially all of the kind of common things that we as a university and as a school feel are vital and important for kind of MBA graduates to know and to have an understanding of. At the end of that first year, students will go on and do a 4-month internship between the first and second year. So that runs over sort of our summer, so May to August, paid internships as well. So that's just a great opportunity for kind of students to, be able to sort of apply what they've learned throughout the program so far out in industry or out with a kind of firm or organization over the summer. And then kind of coming back into year 2, it's a lot of sort of your choice in what you want to make of the program. The one sort of required course is our MBA capstone course, or our business strategy kind of capstone course that kind of brings together the whole program. In that capstone course, it's designed around you working with an outside organization. So we put students into teams, and you're working with a kind of real life outside organization on a business strategy problem that they are facing, alongside our instructors kind of there to help kind of guide you and sort of work through the nitty gritty of that. But the rest of your second year is pretty much up to you in terms of sort of what you want to take. We're very flexible in terms of, courses and choices. We have, probably 70 or 80 different electives you could potentially choose from. And with those electives, they're built around kind of the 5 key career tracks that we as a school kind of focus on. With our career tracks, they're designed to not only sort of leverage some of the strength of our faculty and sort of the industry and area that we're in, but they're also designed to kind of prepare students for, entering into careers in these areas or kind of growing and developing and moving into higher level positions in sort of these key industries as well. And what are our career tracks? Our next slide will go over exactly what they are, but sort of the 5 key areas that we have. So being in Alberta, which is a very energy and oil and gas focused province, we have a career track around energy finance. That's probably the one where we see the most amount of students historically have gone. We have one that's focused around operations and business analytics. I can keep reading them off. One in public sector and healthcare management, one in innovation and entrepreneurship, and one in strategy and consulting. But as I kind of alluded to with the career tracks, they're built around sort of the teaching and strength of our faculty, but also designed to be the kind of main areas where students are going to end up kind of working, the types of industries that students are going to be moving into after graduation. For us, I would say probably the 2 biggest areas where students end up. I think it's definitely a combination of knowledge in some of the different career tracks, but definitely in consulting and in finance or financial services are probably where about half of our full-time graduates end up working at the end of the program every year. And so to give you a quick idea or a quick snapshot of sort of who is in our full-time program, kind of the typical kind of class profile is up there, but I will say, most of our students do not come from a business background. Typically students coming in are from a wide range of different areas. For us, the typical student has, finished school 4 or 5 years ago, has kind of gained some experience behind them, and is now at a point where they are looking to again advance in their career, maybe make a pretty dramatic shift or change in terms of the direction that they're going. And yeah, so we kind of work with them as well. But if you're curious if you sort of fit in, that's sort of our typical or average kind of class profile. I will say for us, and we'll talk about our admission requirements a little bit later as well, but we really kind of try and take a fairly holistic view of everything that a student would bring into the program. We're not 100% set on taking students with necessarily the highest GPA or the highest GMAT score. We really kind of, once we're kind of comfortable or confident somebody's going to be able to do well academically in our program, we really put a lot more emphasis on sort of the other parts of an application. Yeah, and so what are kind of those key things that we look for, that we evaluate? So one is sort of the GPA or the academic side of things, and so for us, sort of the minimum GPA we look for would be 3 out of 4, and so that's essentially a B on kind of the typical Canadian or US 4-point scale. I realize they're very different educational systems, and most schools, even within a country, have different grading scales as well. So we definitely have ways to convert GPA from different systems and scales to be equivalent to sort of our 3.0 or 4.0 system, and we can definitely help you with that. But we're really looking for students that have done reasonably well academically, so looking for kind of that as a GPA. The other sort of academic piece we look for is a GMAT score or a GRE score. So the GMAT itself is a strong predictor of someone's academic success in an MBA program. For us, the kind of minimum score we look for on that is 550, which is was at one point the 50th percentile. It's slightly higher now, but we like 550 as a number to put out there as opposed to 560 or 570, so I've sort of stuck with that. But academically, like, we would take both GPA and sort of GMAT score into account together and just try and get confidence on our end that somebody is going to be able to do well academically in the program. Kind of taking those two together, once we're confident someone's going to be able to do okay, we really put our emphasis on sort of the other parts of that application. And so on the resume side or the work experience side, what we're kind of looking for, or asking for, is for students to have at least 2 years of a post-grad work experience. That's sort of the minimum that we look for. Again, kind of averages from before. A typical student has about 5 years coming in. There's no particular type of experience, type of job, type of industry that we're looking to see students, have experience in. We understand there's lots of different areas you've studied in, lots of different paths you could have gone. But really the type of experience we're looking for is just something that kind of you felt you would need your undergraduate degree to sort of move into. So that type or that level of sort of experience is what we want to see. Again, on the work experience side, so we kind of have the resume kind of outlining what you've done, but we also ask for sort of letters of reference as part of the application. So we ask for 2. With the letters of reference, we want to see at least 1 professional, so one from kind of a current or prior supervisor. You can certainly have both of your references be professional. We would accept an academic reference as well if you're sort of looking at kind of at that level. But ultimately, with letters of reference, what we really want to see are just people that know you well, that can speak to your strengths, that can speak to what you would be able to bring into the program and contribute. And then sort of the other piece that you would need to work on for starting the application itself would be a statement of intent. For us, that's essentially a sort of 1 to 2 page outline of why you're looking to do an MBA, what you're hoping to kind of gain from the program, what has interested you or attracted you to the kind of University of Alberta itself, and sort of where you see your career going afterwards. So really, statement of intent for us is really the why. Once we have an application, once you've sort of submitted all of those documents, sort of the steps on our end, one, we would do sort of a first review and kind of make sure at a basic level, you know, you would meet the main requirements that we're looking for. Once, you know, we were kind of satisfied on that front, what we would do is do admission interviews as well. So we have sort of a two-step interview process. We have a kind of short online video interview that we have students do. And after that, we also have a direct sort of one-to-one interview with a member of our admissions committee. So those can be done in person, over Skype, kind of whatever is sort of the most agreeable. But you know, really taking everything into account. Not only are we looking for students that are going to be able to do well academically in the program, but we also want students that, you know, we can really sort of help them meet and achieve their career goals. So we align well with that. And we want students that are going to be strong, active, and engaged students within the program as well. Because ultimately, I think within an MBA, wherever you choose to do one, half of the benefit is sort of what you'll get out of the classroom, but I think the other half is really what you'll get from kind of the peers that are in class with you, the different experiences, sort of hearing, working alongside kind of the folks in the program with you. And so that's sort of a quick overview just in terms of what we kind of look for at a basic level and sort of how we look at and evaluate applications. And so kind of the last thing I'll sort of mention, and probably also key information as well, is in terms of what we look for are kind of how a tuition is assessed for a program and sort of when we look at applications. So for us, our total tuition for international students is about $58,000 Canadian. So that's for the entire program. Our tuition is actually kind of course-based, and it's assessed each term based on the number of courses that you're in. So at the very least, that'll be split relatively evenly over 4 terms. We do have, you know, spring and summer term courses as well, so potentially get split over, you know, 5 or 6, depending on when you look to take courses. But expect it to at least be split fairly evenly over kind of 4 terms. And then sort of the kind of final thing I'll just mention at the end is sort of, you know, for our program, we have one start date every year, which is to start in fall or the end of August with our orientation and sort of key courses beginning at the start of September. And so our application deadline for international students for every year is April 15th. So if you're looking to sort of start in fall 2020, certainly still have time. Our application deadline for that is April 15th. And that's going to be pretty consistent year to year as well. So if you're thinking 2 or 3 years down the line as well, our deadlines are almost always going to be April 15th. So worth keeping in mind.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. I'm going to speak quickly about MPOWER financing, and then we'll have plenty of time at the end for questions, whether for Chris or myself. So at MPOWER financing, our mission is to help top students from all around the world to help you study at great institutions like the University of Alberta. And we do this by offering both loans and scholarships, and I'll definitely talk about both. So first, we are a very international team ourselves. Collectively, we come from over 13 different countries and speak over 20 different languages. What this means is that we understand and often relate to some of the challenges that international students face when deciding to study abroad. So the reason that we're founded is to help students resolve a couple of questions, and these are questions that students come to us with all the time. They ask us questions like, I've been admitted to a top school like the University of Alberta, but why is it so hard to get a loan without a cosigner or putting my house down as collateral? And why does it take so much time and so much paperwork? So to help to resolve these questions, MPOWER was founded as a 21st century loan solution for international students. We offer loans of up to about 67,000 Canadian dollars, which is more than enough for your Alberta MBA tuition, for 12.5 years. And we can cover tuition, housing, meals, and any other education-related expense that you might have. We offer fixed interest rates, which means our rates never go up over time, but we do offer discounts, which I'll talk about, to help students reduce their interest rate and to help get it as low as possible. We additionally help to set students up for success, not only in school, but after graduation as well. And we do this by helping to build a credit history and to provide documentation for immigration, both for your study permit and potentially for after graduation as well. And finally, our loans are 12 and a half years in length, but we offer no penalty for early prepayments. What this means is as soon as you graduate with an Alberta MBA, you get a great job, whether in Alberta or Toronto or Vancouver or anywhere else, and you're able to pay off that loan quickly with no additional fees or penalties or anything else. And of course, we were rated the #1 student loan for international students, not only by NerdWallet, which is a big sort of financial products comparison site, but also by the US News and World Report. So I can talk a little bit about how we're better, easier, and cheaper for international students, but you know what? You don't need to hear me talk about that. I think what people are more interested in is essentially one of our main advantages for students is that we do offer fixed interest loans. And there's several advantages of this, but fundamentally it means that your interest on an MPOWER loan will never go up over time. It'll be predictable. It means that your monthly payments are staying the same every month. And it means, as I said before, your payments are not going up over time. However, your payments can go down over time. We offer many interest rate discounts that every student's eligible for by, for example, signing up for automatic payments or for making a couple of consecutive payments on time. We also offer a final 0.5% interest rate discount on providing proof of graduation. So again, every student is eligible for these discounts. They're pretty easy to achieve, and we encourage all of our students to take advantage of these. One of our most popular services is our Path to Success program and our scholarships. We offered last year about $100,000 worth of scholarships, and we're going to be offering probably even more this year. Here are on the screen a couple of the scholarships that we had available last year. I'd recommend going to our website and looking this year because our list of scholarships is constantly changing. Some of them are, for example, only for women. Some of them might only be for African students or Latin American students, but the list is constantly changing, which is why I recommend fundamentally having a look on our website and signing up for updates on some of the new scholarships that we have coming in 2020. Here are some of the happy smiling faces of some of our recent winners for our Global Citizen Scholarship. This is our most popular scholarship, which is worth 5,000 US dollars. That's worth about 6,500 Canadian dollars approximately. And I think we had about 8 different winners last year alone. We also offer several free services to all of our students, such as career resources and readiness, resume reviews, mock interviews, and networking support. And this is all part of how we help to set up students for success, not only while they're in school, but after graduation as well. And finally, we've helped several students secure internships and job placement opportunities. These are all services which, of course, the University of Alberta will help you with, but we like to think of ourselves as offering some additional layer of support because we really want our students to be successful after graduation, whether they stay in Canada, go back home to wherever you're from, or go to a third country as well. So that's enough for me. Our contact information is on this slide here, and so is Chris's from the University of Alberta, and we're willing to spend a couple of minutes addressing any questions as well. Please remember, we'll take questions through the chat feature. So if you can type any questions here, then Chris and I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have. So we have one question asked about our Global Citizen Scholarship. The main thing I'd say for any of our scholarships, please have a look on our website. All the details are there, and the Global Citizen Scholarship is a really popular one, but we have several other scholarships that you might qualify for as well. And if you sign up for scholarship alerts on our website, then you'll be able to get notified when a new scholarship becomes available and whether it matches your profile as well. And our scholarships are available to all students who are accepted or enrolled at one of our partner schools, which does include any degree program at the University of Alberta. Chris, there's a question for you on prior learning experience, especially for students who have a significant amount of past work experience.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I will say, I know some MBA programs are very particular about that kind of total amount of experience that they look for students coming in. We are a bit more open to that. So we certainly have students that have more than kind of 10 years of prior experience coming into our program. As I said, our kind of average for students coming in is about 5 years, but we've had students that have had 15, 20 years of experience coming in. Honestly, we really do try and take a look at sort of all kind of aspects of someone's application and sort of what they're hoping to gain out of the program and whether or not, our program is really be able to align with what they want and kind of help them get where they want to go. So, if you graduated 10, 15 years ago and have experience, as long as, the rationale sort of makes sense and it aligns with what we as a school are able to do, certainly someone that we would consider for admission as well.
Chris, we have some other questions about the GMAT, whether it's required. I don't know if you offer any waivers or other exemptions.
Yeah, so we have, it's essentially going to be required. I mean, we will accept the GRE as well. So we'll take either the GMAT or the GRE, but especially for our full-time program, it's essentially going to be an absolute requirement for every applicant. There aren't really waivers or exemptions that we would offer for that.
Great couple of questions on MPOWER loans. I'd say that every degree program at the University of Alberta is eligible for an MPOWER loan. It takes only about 30 seconds for students to check their eligibility online on our website. So when in doubt, the website's just the easiest place to check. Again, it takes about 30 seconds, but briefly, every degree program at the University of Alberta is covered by an MPOWER loan. There's also a question about African students, and I'd say, yes, absolutely. We've covered many African students. Actually, some of our largest countries are Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, and many other African nations. We also have offered some scholarships that are specifically only for African students. And again, the best way to learn about our scholarships are to go directly to our website. But I'd say absolutely, we've covered many African students and have had the pleasure of funding them both for loans and our scholarships. There's a question as well about whether I guess getting an admission from the Alberta School of Business automatically qualifies for an MPOWER loan. It's sort of a tricky question, like yes and no. On one hand, yes, we do cover every degree program at the University of Alberta, of course, including the MBA program. But I'd say additionally that the approval rates are actually quite high, especially for top schools like the University of Alberta, and within their top degree program like the MBA, which as Chris mentioned is among the top 3 in Canada. So I'd say that if you are accepted to an Alberta MBA, your chances for a loan from MPOWER are generally quite high. But again, the best thing to do in that respect is probably to start an application, and then our team would of course be able to help and advise you with that process.
Well, Sasha, I think we're doing well. I don't see too many other questions popping up.
Yeah, maybe let's wait another minute or two, see if anyone else has any questions. And of course, even if we miss your questions, then our contact information is on the page, so please don't hesitate to reach out. All right, so maybe that could be it for now. It looks like we're nearly out of questions for now. So thank you everybody for participating. And again, if we missed any of your questions, please don't hesitate to look on either of our websites, either the University of Alberta or empowerfinancing.com. And all of our contact information is available on the slide too. So thank you everybody for taking part in this webinar. And thank you so much, Chris, for co-hosting as well.
Yeah, well, and I'll just say thanks again to everybody. Hope that was kind of useful and informative. And thanks, Sasha, for putting this all together. That was fun.
This was fun. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.